Coming up on this episode of Old Fat and Crippled Biker, I engineer a crappy redneck fix for my chain to keep it from falling off. Then I go deer hunting in the front yard in downtown Salida, Colorado. Then I get a surprise delivery from the ghost of my riding buddy Bert just before I build an amazing campfire in this free camping spot at the base of Mount Shavano. Coming up. In the last episode, I spent several days camping above Buena Vista at a beautiful location, but the wind was just too intense. I lost a tarp. It ripped due to the strong winds, so I decided to go down the mountain and south into another camping area that I was very familiar with, just outside of Salida. That was scary. I was trying to fill up my tank at the bottom of the hill because my light was flashing, and the guy says we got no power, the whole county is out. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, the whole county. There was a tree fell on the transformer and knocked the grid out for the whole county. So I was like, okay. I was like, I'm headed to Salida. So Salida's on the same grid. So I'm almost 20 miles from Salida, but apparently they've got power here. We're gonna see. Well, it just looks like they've got power because they don't have power down here on the computer, so I can't buy gas. I guess that's a remnant. I guess there's a capacitor holding that screen on. I don't know. Does it look like there's power on inside? No, there's not power on. I just saw the LCDs and thought I got lucky, but I didn't. Yep. Guess we're gonna go hang out in Salida. Yep. They ain't got power. They got capacitors holding the screen on. Oh, I was so hopeful. I thought maybe these guys had a generator or something, but no. Just like everybody else. Shit out of luck. I had to come up here for myself. One of my favorite camping spots in Colorado is right behind me, about half a mile. I came into this spot and I'm like, okay, what's going on? They put a sign up at the very entrance. I mean, I'm going back to the entrance now. I'll show you the sign. But it blew my mind. It's like, no camping beyond this point. And it had another sign that said environmental impact. Or no. What did it say? Something environmental something. Anyway, yeah, I'm guessing there was just too many people out here camping. And they just said, nah, screw it. We're going to close this to camping, which happens when people start trashing the place. Here's the sign right here. Ooh. Area critical, motorized, prohibited, no camping beyond this point. And I'm guessing that has to do with just too many people out here. And there was a lot of people out here. There's always RVs out here. I'm sure that's probably part of it. They're beating up the road so bad. I'm thinking I may have to go up on the side of a mountain here because I'm running out of options. There's not a lot of stuff down here by town, which is why I love this, because it's so convenient. I got good internet signal down here. I got relatively mild temperatures. Weather's good almost all the time, except today. It's windy down here too, near as windy as it is up in the mountains. But I may see what I can find around Poncha Springs, maybe. Although I was very disappointed to find out that one of my favorite camping spots, very low traffic, very good fit for me and the motorcycle and my hammock camping. It wasn't hard for me to find.
another alternative spot, and this is Mount Shavano dispersed camping area. Lots of traffic, lots of dust, but still, had trees, had shade, and convenience.
This is freaking hilarious. I think this is Bert. Did he tell me that he was making this? That you'd catch up, but I can't carry this any longer. This is funny. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense that Bert could not carry that, because that's like half the weight that he's carrying. Where the hell is that son of a bitch? Why hasn't he communicated? I think it's that same troublemaker from the other day. He's eating leaves off that tree over there. Watch him stand up. He's gonna eat the leaves off that tree. Deers are trouble around here. Deers are trouble. Watch him. There he goes. He's gonna stand up. Is he gonna stand up? Or is he just going to nonchalantly walk off? Maybe he didn't like the taste of those leaves. I think there's fruit on there. Talk about nonchalant. It looks kind of skinny, honestly. That is a skinny looking deer. I think he may be starving. Maybe while he's in town. Tiny little guy, skinny too.
This is a pretty cool spot in downtown Salida. You can see the big pyramid in the background, but at the end of this boat ramp, just to the left, there is a standing wave where people surf and play in their kayaks. It's really fun to watch. Lots of kids, lots of hippies in boats, and this is also the place that I fill my dry bag full of shower water. It's very convenient for a crippled one-legged man.
Obviously, there's all kinds of wildlife in Colorado. Here's something they killed on the side of the road, I guess.
You know, I really dig Salida, and really this entire valley. If you want to see wildlife, you don't hang out in the woods, you go into town. And here's another deer here under this tree. I don't know if you can see it. They're just they're everywhere, and I'm about to take a right into this little quad area, this square in the middle of town. I think it's like City Hall or something like that. But there's usually 2 or 3 deer hanging out here, chilling, either bedding down or chomping on the grass. I didn't see any today, but yeah, this is just a really cool area. I really enjoy Salida, Buena Vista, and yeah, it's just common to see deer everywhere.
Now that one looks pretty healthy. It's just mind-blowing. Not only are they eating out of everybody's yards, they're bedded down in the public squares. It's really funny. And there's not usually very many people out here, but there's always a deer or 5 out here chomping or bedded down or something. It's funny. It's just funny. You can hear the spitting rain on the tarp. This is fine. I was hoping for a little bit more rain to knock dust down. And yeah, just miss rain. I like rain. I would much prefer to be underneath my large 13-foot tarp, but I haven't spent the time to repair that yet, so I'm just gonna have to enjoy the smaller shelter that the Hennessy gives me. And this is fine. It sheltered us from the hailstorm up on Sonora Pass. We had to push in next to the hammock. We were on the back side of the hammock. Had to push in to keep from getting. And it was cold too, man. I'm glad I had a hammock or had a tarp. That would have been not so much fun. Being pelted by balls of ice and water in 50-degree temperatures. Oof, yeah, that would have been rough. There is a little, I don't know if this is an XT250 that's putting around here. He came through here yesterday going out. He was blasted. Now that sounds more like a side-by-side. I'm not a big fan. I was hoping it might be the guy on the XT. But he could also be gone. Some guy just chimed in on one of my videos that he's going to be on the Tat coming through Salida next week. And I'm like, yeah, stop by. Come hang out with me, man. I don't know how much time you got, but this is a pretty good place to camp. There's not a lot of other free camp spots that are this awesome. The only other free camp spot that I know of that's this awesome is down the hill. And it's closed for camping now. That was very disappointing, but I'm glad to be up here. Too many people up here, but the people are really cool up here. The people are really chilled, with some exceptions of people driving through way too fast. I don't know where they're coming from. I think there's some more people camped up this way because they come down this road at 30 miles an hour. And there's people and dogs and kids and, yeah, I don't know. They just step out of the trees and squish. Anyway. That sounds like a thumper. That's a thumper. That is a nearby thumper. He's behind me. I think that's where that guy is camped. Probably should tool around there and go, hey, what's up, man? I like your bike. How do you flirt with dudes on motorcycles? Hey, I like your bike. Ooh, nice tires you got there. Oh, do you work out? How many miles you got on the odometer? What other bikes have you had? Do you like to ride really fast or really slow? It is day 3 at Shavano, the camping area, BLM. Funny thing is, I came in over there on this ridge. I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, I'm looking over the bike. I know I got to change my oil within the next week. It's probably a pretty good place as long as I can find a filter. But I'm looking at my chain, and it's past its service life. But I'm looking at each link, and I go, uh-oh, that's not good. That is a master link, and it's missing the retaining clip, which is not good. Good thing for me, I have a flaring tool. I've got a kit for punching out chains. I don't do master links anymore. I just cut my links and press them in, press the rivets in, and that's what I'm going to do to that chain because that worries the hell out of me. But otherwise, cooked dinner last night, the last of my Uncle Billy's bug nuggets. They were delicious, although I left too much water in there. Wind has been significant here, but since we've got so much trees slowing the wind down, can I help you? Oh, he's just gonna stop in front of my camp and navigate. Yeah, so other things I got going on today, I got the bag of Arkansas River water warming up, and I'm planning on taking a shower right over there on that rock. It's smooth enough for my naked butt, and I've got a technique now. I've got a technique for bathing, and it's basically wash my body with my leg on, and then I change out my leg, my liner. I wished I could show you because I think it's interesting, but nobody wants to see this fat, naked, hairy man. Anyway, my campsite I've been coming to for the last few years, including 23 on the Tat, is right down there. It's that other ridge down there you can see in the distance, and that is Washout Road, but they've closed that for camping, and that's good enough because I think this is much quicker to town. I think it's probably an extra 2 or 3 miles down the road to get to that camp. It's a very dangerous spot to try to turn into. Tons of traffic doing 75, 80 plus, and 2 lanes of traffic coming up the hill. It's quite scary and intimidating. Anyway, that's my old camp spot. This is nicer, although it's much higher traffic. Lots more people camping out here. More dust. But yeah, it's really nice, and there's lots of trees, lots of shade, or enough shade, not lots of shade, but enough shade. You can hide from the sun all day long in here, and as soon as the sun starts going down on the horizon or coming up, there's lots more shade. It's almost 10 o'clock now, which means the sun's getting close to being overhead. Anyway, I like this spot. I'll probably stay here for a few days because I've got lots of stuff to do. I gotta change my oil, I gotta rivet that chain on, I've got to fix my tarp, I've got to take a bath, I've got to do laundry, I've got lots of web work I need to do. I would like to get another video out before I leave here, or at least edited. They're all coming out once a week, so I got a little stockpile going. My neighbors are cool. This little spot down here in the corner, somebody comes in here every night, leaves early the next morning, and typically they're very quiet. So other than the dust, I like this spot. I like this spot a lot. It's very convenient. Salida is 7 miles that way. Very easy access to a lot of stuff. They even have a Walmart, so if I get desperate, I can get real stuff. They got a couple of auto parts places. Anyway, the wind, I would consider a breeze here. It's a breeze. Sometimes it gets very strong, but nothing is flapping around, nothing is rolling down the hill. Well, paper and trash, but wildlife, not much. Birds and squirrels so far. All the wildlife is in town. So I've come up with a plan to safety wire my missing master link key, plate, safe, whatever, the little plate that goes, there's two plates that go on a master link. One's the primary plate, and then one slips into a couple of grooves. Well, that thing is gone. I could order another one, but from my experience, even with the same type of chain, all those master links don't work the same. I've tried it before, so I'm afraid that I would be messing with something, and I've got to get by until that clip gets here. So I have a flaring chain removal tool. Because I think ahead. It's heavy. I've been carrying it the whole trip. I thought about flaring that master link, but it's a completely different. I'm afraid it's just going to make the situation worse. I think that plate is going to come undone. I don't know that I can flare it down to hold that plate on. So what I'm going to do is just safety wire the plate. I've got some safety wire in here, and I'm just going to wrap it around and feel good about it. That's because I don't know what else to do. And on top of everything else, I don't know how long that thing's been flapping loose like that. So to me, I think that's the safest bet. So we'll see if I can get that done. Safety wire. Man, all these people always come in here. Safety wire. not really safety wire. I think it's like a stainless. Damn. Stainless, like picture hanger, I think is what the way I purchased it. We're gonna try that. We're gonna try that because I'm confident that if anybody can screw something up, I can. All right, I'm calling that good. I feel a lot better about that, even though it's janky, and yeah, I'm sure somebody's gonna laugh at me, but I feel better about that than having nothing on there at all. So I don't know, how do you feel? It's about 30-40 minutes after the storm, and man, a little bit of hail, a little bit of water made a huge difference. No more dust. It's so freaking quiet. Back to the view and how awesome it can be if you just look in the right places. You know, I've been coming up here 5 years now, maybe 6, and I didn't know this place was here. Shavano. Call it Shavano Campground. It's not really a campground, it's a camping area. Wow, that is beautiful. Knocked out all the smoke. Now you can see all the way down into the valley, no problems. That's what I call a view. There's not a lot of spots I've been to that look like this. This is not quite 180 degrees of view. Off in the distance you can see the Collegiate Peaks up by Buena Vista. BV, as people down here call it, BV. Locals up there call it Buena Vista. How about that sun? Still a little bit smoky coming through up there, but overall not too bad. May sit over here and watch the sun go down, because who's going to stop me? So I have buckled down camp again in anticipation of the coming storms, the afternoon storms. They usually get here before 5, and it's right at 5 now. But the winds come first. Well, you see the clouds in the distance. I'm not sure what kind of influence those mountains have. Like Mount Shavano is right there. And then you've got the whole range here up to the Collegiate Peaks where I came from, Buena Vista. But yeah, I dig storms. I really dig storms when there's not a lot of just wild wind. There was some whipping action going on earlier. That whole snapping thing that I got up on 4 Mile when I was camped up above Buena Vista. But yeah, I dig watching the storms come in. I really dig watching them come in. Unfortunately, they're not really coming in. They're just kind of driving across. And it's kind of unknown. Is it going to storm on me? Or is it going to just storm over there? Because it sounds like all the thunder is coming from over there. But it's kind of hard to tell. And you can see up towards Buena Vista, you can see outlines. So it's raining there. There's a lot of moisture there. That's no longer smoke. And I didn't get the camera out today. I should have, because it's dramatically different from the rain yesterday. It knocked down all the smoke. Like, it's kind of hard to tell now. I think there's a lot of moisture in there, but you can see all the details on the mountains. It's kind of hazy over there too. But yeah, I dig this. What I would dig more is if I could have a fire. In fact,
my buddy Mike over there who's leaving. I thought they were leaving tonight. He looked like he went into town for something. I'm not sure. I think his buddy John over there is maybe having problems. Anyway, he said I could have some of his firewood. He's got a lot of split firewood over there, so I may go snatch that before he leaves. Or as he leaves. Hopefully I'll get to burn it. I think they still got a burn ban on right now in Chaffee County, but yeah, I'm just anticipating the storms. I also have burritos I'm going to make for dinner. If I don't like to cook when the weather is so dynamic, because I don't like to be in the middle of my cooking and have my pots and pans blown over by the wind, and that can happen out here, believe it or not. But lots of thunder. I haven't seen any lightning, so I guess all the thunder is up above the clouds. It's not going to the ground. At least I haven't seen any yet. But all that's typical. It's Mike's rig. He went somewhere earlier. I thought they'd be gone by now, but I think they're having troubles. Looks like there's a little bit of rain coming down. Oh yeah, there's a lot of rain coming down right there. The silhouette's almost gone. That's how much rain is coming down. And it's probably coming this way, because that's what it does. And there is some virga. I've talked about virga before in quite a few videos, because it's a very unique thing to the west. You don't really see virga in the south. When you see something that looks like that curtain of rain that's coming down, that always hits the ground. But when it doesn't hit the ground like it does in the west, it just kind of hangs there and evaporates. That's called virga. Oh yeah, that looks like real weather. I may need to batten down the hatches a little bit better. Damn, there's people all the way around the other side of that ridge over there. Yeah. Nope, there's some lightning. Or light. Yeah, that's a curtain of rain that's going all the way to the ground. That's rain. Yeah, that looks pretty heavy rain. So, I can't remember if I shot yeah, I did. I shot the storm yesterday. I remember getting hammered with the hail. Wasn't too bad a hail. I would say that's typical for Colorado hail, just kind of light little balls. But yeah, so we're seeing right there, we're seeing exactly what I love, is the view of the storm coming in. It looks like it's coming straight towards us. Will it get here? Or will it pass right over? I don't really care. I don't really need the rain now. Everything's cooled off. Yeah. I'm real nerdy about weather. I know some of you guys are going to be like, wow, why is he such a weather nerd? Why does he get so excited about weather? This is the weather I get excited about. I always get excited about storms coming in. Always have. Always will. Unless they are accompanied by 50-mile-an-hour winds. Not a big fan of those. Not a big fan. I'm really tempted to set up my tripod and do a time lapse, but I might be the only one that enjoys those. I don't know. There's so many things I do on camera, and then I capture them, and I get so excited. It's like, oh, that's so awesome. I captured that awesome moment. I time lapsed, I drone shot it, I did a drive-by, I did all this stuff. And the disappointment comes when nobody watches them. I like to blame it on YouTube, but then I could also blame it on my audience that doesn't share my passion for the topics that I want to talk about. Man, look at the skies. This is so great. I think it's partially the excitement of the weather and the electricity that's coursing through the atmosphere. I just think this is fantastic. I want a house right here. I bet the BLM won't let me build one, but I want a house right here. I want to knock down a few of these trees and build a few of my own. It looks like the virga is getting closer to the ground over there. I think the storm's coming this way, y'all. What are the odds? It is 3 minutes till 5 o'clock. 3 minutes till 5, so check back in about that's not rain coming down, that's seed pods coming off the trees, getting blown off the trees. Sounds like rain. And while I'm thinking about it, that lady in the van over there, it's an elderly lady. She's 60 plus years old. I saw her pull in. She moved the van around 3-4 times and then pulled it back. I guess she wanted a little bit of privacy with that tree in front of her. But I would call her homeless. Like a lot of people out here camping may actually be homeless, but it's really hard to tell. People like this that park their van and stay in their van and never do anything else, those people are miserable. And I think she's one of those miserable people that doesn't have any options. She's not out here to enjoy nature like the rest of us, or at least the people around me. The guy behind me over here and his buddy John, they're out here enjoying nature. They take walks with their dogs every day. They talk to their neighbors. This lady has been, as far as I know, I have seen her outside her van twice in the last 24 hours. So she is not enjoying herself. She is not out here enjoying nature. She's probably miserable. I don't know. She may be in there dead. I don't know. But you know, she may be in there hooked on heroin, and that's what she does. She shoots up twice a day and passes out. I don't know. I just think it's sad. I think it's sad because there's so much to see out here, so much to experience. This may not be your thing. Man, if I was her, I'd be hanging out on the side of that cliff, sitting in a chair, hanging out on the side of that cliff because it's beautiful. Why sit inside your van? I don't know. Maybe she's reading books. I don't know. I know I have demonstrated carrying water with these OBR ADV holsters. I know for a fact that I have demonstrated carrying dry bag water with these, and you could do it. You could use your dry bag that comes with it, but I always have an extra dry bag for foodstuffs and things like that. So I always carry my creek water, lake water, river water, whatever in that. But you can also purchase water. And you just have to make sure that it's bound in there tight, and I usually just use a bungee just to kind of suck everything up. That ain't going nowhere. It rides really well. And, you know, I never run out of water. As a result, yes, store-bought water is the best. Because it goes through machines and not some cow's bladder. Well, as the sun is going down, I've almost got the whole camping area to myself. My neighbor just came and said hello just after I got my fire started, and I thought, oh no, she's not going to come over here and hang out with me. She just said hey and had some questions, and I answered them, and she came back to her camp, luckily for me. Got a little firewood from my neighbor, left a whole stack of firewood, and I got about half of it. Seeing if I can get some of this stuff started while the sun goes down. This is my first night in Colorado with a campfire. I'm pretty excited. It's really the first time I've had decent weather where I would not feel like I was going to catch the forest on fire if I actually started something. I've had plenty of firewood. My neighbor left me all his firewood. I got probably several days of burning here. I may actually incorporate this into my cooking plans. I ran out of propane this morning for my little cook stove. I actually ran out of it last night while I was trying to make a third burrito, which is probably a good thing I ran out because I didn't need a third burrito. But
But yeah, I tried to find some fuel in town. Nobody had it. And then I went to the last stop before I came up the hill again. Little sporting goods store, and they had it. Decent price, big canister. Anyway. But before all that, I started thinking, man, I got all that firewood. If the weather calms down any, I could do some grilling. I could grill some stuff over the fire. Because got plenty of firewood. Don't have to gather any of it. It's good stuff. It's good, thick, solid, seasoned oak. And just made a video, a little short update as the sun was going down. I should have captured that with this camera too, because that was nice. Nice seeing the sun go down. And with the fire in the foreground. Anyway, the place is almost completely deserted. Had some morons come in last night and park right on the edge of my campsite, in between me and the other lady, the only other lady that's over down here. And I went and ran them off this morning because I was like, yeah, you guys, not a campsite. I didn't say it like that. I said it in a whole lot nicer way that probably made them think for about 20 minutes. It's like, oh, we're not in a campsite. But I think they went up the hill there. I think they went up that way. Found them an actual campsite. And I'm so glad. They had 3 freaking kids. And they were relatively quiet. One of them was really young. And they were all relatively quiet, but they were right next to my freaking camp. Sometimes people just have no sense at all. Like, why are you coming out into the woods? To sit in somebody else's lap? Doesn't make any sense. Well, I'm going to enjoy my campfire and stop bitching.
One of the many marvelous things about living in nature, living outdoors, is being able to see sunsets like this. This is actually after sunset, but just sometimes the clouds in the sky explodes with color like this. And sometimes you miss it. Sometimes I'm just too damn lazy to get up and get the camera. But luckily I had the camera on me at this point. And I got to see a little bit of the Virgo that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, it's just, it's one of these things, unless you've got a really big back deck looking out on the sky, it's really hard to enjoy stuff like this unless you live in nature. And something I encourage people to do.
Pretty good example of a typical Denver douchebag. They pulled in last night and camped in that lady's camp spot right over there. Very interesting. No response when I walked by and said, very, very creative spot you made there. No response at all. Maybe they're packing up. Looks like they're making themselves at home. Kind of strange. They just don't have any fucking clue. That's not a camp spot. It's not an extra space for them. Yeah, they look kind of retarded, so maybe they're not douchebags. Maybe they're just retarded. I don't know. So, just want to make a quick video of this chair that I bought from Ace. And I'm going to send this video to Ace first. Hopefully they'll do the right thing and warranty the chair. Although my greater concern is how many people have bought these chairs. And this is what it is. It's a quick chair. Supports up to 500 pounds. That's why I bought the chair. The guy, the clerk that showed me the chair, said, oh yeah, you'll be fine in this. I was like, yeah, typically these things don't last very long. I know they're made cheap, but this one didn't last 2 days. It started ripping here. Actually, it looked like this before, and these threads, I think the first day, I know it was by the second day, these threads started ripping out. And by the 3rd or 4th day, I was like, man, I probably better put some stitches in this, because I'd already left Red Lodge at that point. I put some stitches in here with some upholstery thread that I have, and you can see what's left over. This is my thread here, but it ripped out the plastic. So either I'm 600 pounds or this is just really crappy. And you can see it's not just there. This material is just crap. It's utter crap. It's coming apart at the seams here.
And this just happened to be the most dramatic thing. Well, it broke. It was holding okay up until last night, and then it ripped. And I was cooking dinner, and I was like, man, I gotta have something to sit in. So I grabbed some straps from the motorcycle that are holding a bag on, and this actually worked pretty well. I sat in this thing last night, but the other day I reached out to a guy here in Salida. I went to the Ace in Salida, and he was very receptive. He's like, I just don't have a chair to replace it with, or apparently he would have, but I don't know that I want another chair like this. So I'm going to send this video to Ace Corporate and see if they can just give me a refund, and I'll find another chair, because this is just, I mean, this is like recycled plastic bags or something. It's not real fabric. So, and you can see it's coming apart over here. And yeah, for the record, I weigh 300 pounds, just over 300 pounds, and I'm not abusive to the chairs. It's just a piece of crap. It's not worth $42 for sure. Anyway, we'll see what Ace Corporate says. Maybe nobody will ever see this video except Ace Corporate. Who knows? I stopped at this location here, just to the right of this corner here, and I think my original intention was to do a story on the original brothel, one of the original brothels in Salida. And I can't remember the lady's name, but it was a really good story. I remember she had 2 or 3 brothels that she operated in town, and she wound up being a pillar of the community. You know, today we think of prostitution as being one of those things. It's illegal in most states, except for I think Nevada has legalized prostitution, but they have very rigid, strong rules about where and when and how and all that. I would really like to do a story maybe the next time I'm in Salida and talk about this lady. Very interesting lady. Like I said, pillar of the community. And, hey, she's a businesswoman when it comes down to it. She gave people what they wanted back then, and I should do a story soon.
I say it a lot because it's true. I'm sure if you've heard it a lot already, you're probably getting tired of it, but it's the truth. It's the most dangerous part of my riding day. Packed up, leaving camp for the first time. It's dangerous, and I know it. And I wish things would change quickly. I really do. I wish things would get much easier. I wish I would get more comfortable riding my bike fully loaded first thing. And I wish this clutch would stop doing this first thing too. That puts another banana peel in the whole let's see if Dawn can make it out of the freaking campsite in one piece. I am wearing all the gear, but I was wearing all the gear the other day when I went down in the Chick-fil-A parking lot at, get this, 0 miles an hour. Stalled it, which I don't know how the hell I did that. I guess I was afraid of the jerky clutch, and I wasn't giving a lot of throttle. I don't know what it all about. All I know is I went down hard. I tried to save it, because I know how fucking hard this bike is to pick up when it's dry and empty. And I think I had close to a full tank on there. Anyway, bottom line is it hurt. It hurt for 3 freaking days. I hurt my leg more than anything, but I banged up my banged up my elbow. I banged up my hip. What else did I hit? I think I cricked my neck too, because my head went like that. But the real pain was in my leg, because I smashed my leg on the inside of the of my socket. So my stump.
Drunk off my hump, my hump.
almost couldn't walk for 2 days. Anyway, I have recovered, but I still have the memory of the worst part of my day. The most risky part of my day is always getting out of camp. I've probably been riding, I've ridden every day. I've been here a week, I've been in camp a week. Can you imagine at a campground, me in a campground for a week? And it's not your typical campground. I would say, for the most part, everybody was on really good behavior. For the most part. A couple of jerks walking through, down the main road at midnight, running their fucking mouths. I don't know if I got that on camera or not, but I was pretty pissed about that. I was like, damn, dude. You're walking through other people's campsites, running your mouth at midnight. Get a fucking grip. Yeah, that's probably the worst offender, and the dumbass couple that came in and made their own campsite in between me and Laura. Laura was the girl in the van. Probably won't talk much about her, because I feel sorry for people like that. She's obviously homeless and not happy about it. I remember watching an interview with the most famous van dweller on planet Earth. A little documentary about van life, people living outside of a home. And none of these people were helpless and hopeless, and all these people had funds, or at least enough funds to make themselves a nice life. And that's basically the documentary was pointing out van lifers, and and what I would consider probably a majority of van lifers, people living in RVs and vans, and retired people. I would consider the interview that this guy had to be the majority of the people that are living in a vehicle full-time. And the majority of the people that I've met are very happy. But the one quote that I remember from this, and I've repeated this several times, is, I want to live here. The big difference between me and a homeless person is I love living in my van.
There's a continuum of people who live in vehicles. There are the homeless, and right now in America there are a lot of those who are just cannot, they lost their job, and then they lost their house, and then they've lost their apartment. They're in their cars because they have absolutely no choice. They are homeless. And then there are people such as myself and Sherry and lots of other people you're going to meet who choose to live in their vehicles. And then there are traditional RVers who can live in $10,000 RVs or $1 million RVs. And there's a continuum of people who live in a vehicle. I think the key difference is a homeless person doesn't want to live in his vehicle. He isn't escaping the rat race. He doesn't hate the rat race. He hates living in his car or his van. He wants to get out of it as soon as he possibly can. That's a homeless person. I love living in a van or the camper or a vehicle. I love it. I don't want to ever live any other way. So I don't think of myself as homeless. A person who hates it is homeless.
That homeless guy doesn't want to live in his van. That's a big difference to me, and that's what I see with poor little Laura back there, the little lady in the van. Is she would much rather be living in air-conditioned comfort somewhere, but she just can't for whatever reason. I don't know, I could be wrong about her, but she just does not strike me, and none of them ever do. They never strike me as being happy out there. And that's kind of one of the big signs I always say is, like, if they're stuck in their vehicle all day long, they don't come out, they don't enjoy the view, the weather, if they're not enjoying the birds chirping and the wind blowing, if they're inside their vehicle all the time, they're fucking miserable. And that's the difference between me and them. I don't spend almost any time in my vehicle with him. I could be on the top of my vehicle. So far, it looks like a lovely day.
Make sure you join me next time as I roll up to Leadville, Colorado, the highest city in America, to wait on a tire that Amazon never sends me. Next time, see you then.